Like, I got nothing to prove. I'm an American. Like, but yeah, I was born in Korea. I came here right before 9/11 to Texas. Which, yeah, it's a perfect time to come. Like, I never felt more patriotic. I was like, holy shit! Like, I felt like I was in a fucking like a Jason Bourne movie. You know, I saw the towers crumbling on fucking TV in kindergarten. I'm like, when are we gonna kick these bad guys' asses? And then I learned that they're Muslim people and brown people, and I was like, oh shit, my bad. Like, we really like your oil, but we don't really care for much for your people. But yeah, I'm from Korea, and like, I don't know, growing up here, like, I hear about a lot of stereotypes and shit. And like, Americans nowadays get very sensitive about like racial stereotypes and shit. But like, as a Korean person, I never felt offended because I grew up very conservative. And like, some of the stereotypes are true. And we don't want to admit it, but they're fucking true. Like, I'm having a hard time looking at the spotlights because my eyes are small. And you know, like, we don't want to admit this shit, but like, we really do be seeing it widescreen and shit, you know? Our peripherals are good, but what's in front of us is pretty shitty. Like, that's probably why we're bad drivers and stuff, you know? But, man, I really do love America. It's like the easiest country you could, like, kind of shit on and make fun of, but get away with it, you know? Like, where I'm from in Korea, I'll tell you where you can't get away with that shit. You can't get away with that shit in North Korea. Like, that's just facts. Like, they will shoot you. They'll kill 3 generations of your family. They'll put you in concentration camp. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, I never understood that. But then, like, as a Korean person, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But, like, I remember people back then used to get offended by, they still might get offended by this, but, like, you've heard about Asian people eating dog, right? Like, are people strangers to that shit? Cause like, I'll tell you straight up, like, I saw my grandma, like, butcher a dog, and like, serve it to my family and neighbors. And I felt like, I was like, fuck dude, I was petting that thing yesterday, I thought it was my friend, and she told me, no, it got sick and died, and that's why we gotta serve it. I'm like, but why? Just like, I don't know, it is what it is, you know? Like, it puts food on the table, that's what it's like on a farm. You don't really question shit, you know? There's no veganism, vegetarianism, it's just, you eat what you get. And yeah, like when I first moved to America and I tried hamburger, that shit was like crack. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, I've tried crack. Like at that time, like hamburger was better than crack to me. I was like, shit, this is fucking delicious. Like I could keep eating this shit, and you know, I don't know if it's grown up American or maybe like as a comedian, but like I've tried a lot of drugs because you know, like my community and everyone else around me, they're like, oh, the drugs are bad, don't do drugs. But then I'm like, but why? You know? And I tried it, I'm like, man, they bullshitting. Like, dude, this shit feels good. Like, you know, you want to forget about your day? Like, yeah, just take drugs. You know, you want to feel good about yourself, feel confident? Yeah, just take drugs. It's like a cheat code. And like, I'm Korean, so like, I think of life in terms of like a video game. And I'm like, man, like, y'all waste your time and money doing stupid bullshit to get happy, but like, you know, well, okay, I'm not gonna endorse drugs because I've been clean for about 8-9 months now. Yeah. It's hard to do. I don't know why, but I like to choose difficult things where most normal people wouldn't choose that type of shit. Like, I'm Asian, and we really don't like to break free a lot of like what we're comfortable and what we know with. So I decided I'm gonna take heroin and meth for 2 years. And work in my family business and, you know, do some fucked up shit with them and, you know how it goes. I got kicked out the house and it is like that. But it is what it is. You know, I've been hearing that a lot from Americans and I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, that's what it is like. Like, you don't complain about it. You just deal with it, you know? And I hate to say this or offend anyone, but like, I wish people will stop being such pussies about things, you know? Like, they don't have to get offended, you know? Like, that's something you choose to do. Like, why would you choose to get offended? Like, it makes no sense to me. Like, I work with Latinos in the back of kitchens and shit, and yeah, they always used to call me fucking pinche chino, which just means like fucking Chinese person. I was like, alright, yeah, like we're all the fucking same. Like, bro, like, as Asian people, we have like a second sense. Like, we can tell what type of different Asian person they are. Like, and it is by like, not to get racist, but like we do look at their eyes, we look at their skin tone, we look at how they talk, and then we read their last names, and we're like, oh yeah, you're Vietnamese, you're Chinese, you're Korean. And I shit you not, like, it's fucking easy for us, man. It's like a video game, like, man, life is a video game. That's just how I see shit. And yeah, that's one of the biggest mental health crises in South Korea that not a lot of people know about. But it's fucking video, it's like gaming addiction. Like, where they're gambling at casinos and shit, or like, they just play like fucking online games, computer games, whatever it is. We'll spend like hours on there. Like, this is gonna sound tragic, but it sounds hilarious to me. But like, in South Korea, they have this problem with like, people spending so long in like computer rooms that like, this was not an isolated case. A woman, she would give birth in the fucking toilet, and then she would go back to playing video games, and the kid would just fucking die. We wouldn't call that an abortion. We were like, dude, she's just maximizing efficiency. You know, you can't pause the fucking game. Like, you know, like you can't let your team down. Like, it's like, oh yeah, sorry guys, like I was just giving birth, you know, in the bathroom. Like, you know, like
No.
it's just what it is. And I don't think people might understand that until they go to Asia and like they see like, man, we're really fucking hardworking people, and Koreans especially, they like to work fast. Like, there's a word in Korean called like bali, which just means like quick. Like, you know, whatever you're doing, you better take care of that shit fast. Do it clean, do it perfectly, don't make mistakes, or you know, you'll get fired. Like, it is what it is over there, but you know, that shit won't work in America. Like, but like, you tell a Korean person like what vacation is or benefits, they'll just look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you work to live and you live to work. Like, and it is like that over there. And yeah, not a lot of people can understand that, so that's kind of what I came to share to you guys about, because I don't know how many Asian friends you have, but we really don't like to stick outside our bunch. But yeah, like, I like experiencing different things, seeing different people who don't look like me, people who eat different shit than me, because like, I grew up in a pretty conservative church. We ate rice every day. I was like, man, this is some fucking bullshit, I'm tired of this fucking rice. Like, I've eaten the same fucking seaweed rice toppings constantly, and I was like, man, whenever I went to like the white half of the church called the English ministry, and I tried bread and ham, I was like, bro, fuck this shit. I'm not eating seaweed soup for the rest of my life. Like, I want to eat fucking bread, cheese, and ham and mayonnaise. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and then they eventually kicked the white people out of my church. I'm like, why do you gotta do that? You know, who snitched? Like, bro, like, you know, because someone had to snitch, because, you know, they fucked it up for us. We have like a perfectly balanced ratio of a segregated church, and I wish they never fucked it up for me, because I love white people food, all caps. Like, you know, a lot of people shit on mayonnaise, but you'd be surprised how much shit has mayonnaise, and it makes it taste so much better. See, some people disagree, and that's fair. You know, it is what it is. You know, and yeah, I really love America, and it's fucking great. Like, maybe it's because I'm Texan, I feel more patriotic than the average American, but like, when I hear about like what other people outside of my state complain about, I'm like, what are you guys bitching about? Like, you have money, you have shelter, you have food. Like, why do you get offended over fucking words? Like, bro, like, you got better things to do on your times. You can't just be like a keyboard warrior all the time, you know? Like, life is really too short. And I'm only 24, but I look like I've aged a lot because I work a lot and I used to do a lot of drugs. Now I've moderated a bit. Only weed and alcohol, but you know, it's really liberal over here. You would not get away with that shit in Asia. You get caught with drugs, they'll send you to a fucking federal prison, like, real quick. Like, it's no joke over there, but, you know, it's a different kind of fun over there, you know? There's a lot more shit to do, and don't cost as much, like, food is cheaper and stuff. But, man, I'm pretty drunk right now, but I feel good. Thank you for letting me speak.